Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. It is your girl, Ray P. Welcome back to another episode of the We Got Y'all podcast. Of course, I am not here alone. I am joined by my esteemed, amazing co host, listener to all of my ridiculousness, friend, just consummate, good ass friend, K Rich. What's going on, Kyron?
What's happening, Rachel? Good morning to you. Afternoon, evening, whenever y'all listening. But specifically to Rachel, good morning.
Good morning.
Always a pleasure talking to you on and off
Mhm.
recording.
Always.
Always a good time. Always a fun conversation. It's already been a morning full of laughs. Let's put it
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
But obviously, good to be here with you. We got y'all. Always a pleasure. Shout out to TSF.
Shout out to TSF Entertainment.
Mhm.
You guys, we just finished raising Canaan, and we took a short break, but in the midst of that, we were able to join with another podcast with a much bigger following and just connect with some cool ass guys. So go over to TSF Entertainment, check them out, follow, like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, let's get this building together. Shout out to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely, man. Shout out to them for reaching out to us and just appreciating what we do over here
for sure.
and having the chance to talk about raising Canaan. It was a fun conversation, and a lot of other great creators that were a part of that. So check all of
Mhm.
them out. We are here, obviously, to talk about Forever season 1 on Netflix. It's worth the conversation for
For
sure.
sure.
But before we get there, thank you for all the love and support for raising Canaan and for what y'all show. So we got y'all anyway.
Yes.
Um, the most interactive that we've ever had as far
Mhm.
as a series that we discussed. And
Mhm.
we appreciate y'all for that. And we're going to make sure we keep the feed alive and keep it going and release more consistently, maybe once a month at least, if there's not a series that we're covering. And hit us up if you have any ideas or
For
suggestions on
sure.
what you want to hear about. Because when it comes to television, Rachel can talk about anything. And I'm a great passenger. I'll be right here on the ride. So it's all good. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment, share, tell a friend to tell a friend.
Mhm.
There will be spoilers and explicit content. And as I mentioned, Forever is streaming on Netflix. Created by Mara Brock Akil, absolute
Legend.
legend. Absolutely, absolutely. It's an adaptation of a 1975 Judy Blume novel.
Shout out to Judy Bloom.
Shout out to Judy Blume, 87 years young, still strong, going after it. It's funny because we kind of talked about this on the Culture Garden. Shout out to
Mhm.
the Culture Garden
Shout out to the
when
Culture
we did
Garden.
our About Last Night episode, and we
Mhm.
had a mini conversation about black films. What's this? Because About Last Night originally came out in the 80s with an all white cast,
Mhm.
redone with Michael Ealy, Kevin Hart, Joy Bryan, etc., Regina Hall. And this is kind of the same thing when I look at it, just taking art, and we touched on it. It's not about being black. It happens to be black because we're black. It's just a great story.
It is.
And it doesn't always have to be centered. There was a moment, and we won't get into the show yet, but just a small example. There's a moment when you thought Justin was going to get pulled over,
Mhm.
and it didn't happen because we didn't need that. The story's
Yeah.
not about black trauma. It's about love and being teenagers, and the characters happen to be black and bring their blackness with them. So
Yeah.
I always think it's cool that you can take any kind of story and just make it our own. And I love the way everyone rallied around this series,
For sure.
because it is that incredible.
You
Um,
making an interesting point about last night, and I would venture to say that I think Forever did a better job of adapting the movie for black characters. About
100%.
Last Night felt very much like, except for a lot of the expletives, the same script. Like these, it
Hmm.
felt like it was written for white people. This,
Well, my
go
fault. Not to cut you off. Remember, white director, all of that. This is
ahead.
black from the writer's
From the
room all
ruler
the
to
way
the tutor.
down. Only thing, yeah, the only thing white is Judy.
It's
Straight up.
Chloe.
Yeah, and Chloe. Yeah, yeah. Um, but speaking of Judy, they did pay homage to the 1975 novel because those characters in the book they were named Catherine and Michael, and
Hmm.
obviously Chloe's aunt and uncle, or Aunt Cat, as she says,
Hmm.
Aunt Catherine and Uncle Mike. So
Hmm.
that's a homage to them. Um, But yeah, I just love that we have this regular story, and I want to talk about the people who were involved. We also mentioned the creator, who's absolute legend, but 4 different directors.
Mm-hmm.
I think 5 maybe. We have Regina King,
Legend.
another legend. She directed episode 1. Episodes 2, 3, 7, and 8 were directed by Anthony Hemingway. Just wanted to shout out that he also directed 2 episodes of the greatest show of all time, The Wire.
The Wire.
Um, Jimmy Banks directed episodes 4 and 6, and then Mara Brock Akil directed my favorite episode of the entire season, episode 5, The Vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
Opening thoughts, Rachel. What was your opening thoughts on this series, and why are we talking about it today?
Okay, I love this series. I came on, and I can't remember what we were recording, but I discussed my one complaint about it. But I recognize that that is also me just being an auntie, I guess, at this current age.
What was your complaint?
My one complaint was just that I don't need like such intimacy from children. I don't need that level of a sex scene, even though it wasn't graphic. It just was a lot. I don't need to know that Justin is a pleaser. Like I don't want to know that about my little cousins.
Fair. That's fair.
That's literally my only thing. I don't need Chloe. I thought when I went back, when I watched it the first time, I thought not Chloe, Shannon, the cousin. I was like, oh, she's already grown. But no, I think she was her in her senior year too. So I don't want to see your titties because you a kid. I don't need that. And I recognized I was doing the things in high school. We've seen a million movies and shows where getting the American pie in high school, where having sex in high school, I don't have the same reaction to the wood that I had to that, when that is such a major part of the story, of their experiences in high school, is trying to get some goods. We see kids getting touched.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was my only thing. And I realized that I'm turning into my mother. So
what do you think that is? Why do you think you didn't feel the same when you watch a movie like The Wood versus this? And it's funny you mentioned The Wood, because Lovey Simone is, I think, 26, 27.
Mm-hmm. Because I know they're grown. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's funny because only reason I mention that is because she reminds me of Melinda Williams, where she has that. I think Melinda Williams might have been 30 when she filmed The Wood. Right? She was playing a high school girl, like an 8th grader.
Yeah.
She says just those baby faces, but you're really a grown woman is kind of that thing that she carries. Because I thought that when I was watching the series. But why do you think this was a little bit more? I would guess to say you might feel more connected to these characters than you did The Wood. Like they really do feel like, it feels like everyone, like the aunties, uncles, as you say, kind of wrapped our arms around this show from a different perspective. And was like, oh, like I fuck with y'all. Thoughts on that too, and I'll get to it in a second.
I won't say a connection, but I think a different level of protection of them. So with The Wood, we were kids when that came out. So that's more relatable to me. Some kids, me, a kid in high school, seeing some kids in high school trying to get to it.
Yeah.
I relate to that more than being a woman of a particular age looking at some kids trying to get to it. And where The Wood differs is it's these adults retelling the story of their youth versus us seeing the youth coming literally of age. So that's really probably my only thing. But I love this movie or show series. It's already been greenlit for a second season. It's beautifully lit, beautifully directed. Everybody did their thing. Beautifully acted.
Yeah.
Everybody came to work, and I appreciate that. You can tell that everybody took their time and they were committed to the project, and I just love it. I know that's a blanket statement. I just love it, but for all of those things.
No, very well said, Rachel. And you made a great point about, I was 12 when The Wood came out. So I too was trying to figure out what that life be like. Now,
Right.
it was a few years until I did experience, but
Hmm.
those thoughts start coming around that time, especially for young boys, and I'm sure young girls as well.
For sure.
Before I get into my thoughts, I do want to give proper, at least credit to the principal cast.
Hmm.
Give the synopsis of the entire season or series. Two high schoolers in Los Angeles navigate first love and intimacy amid social and parental pressures. The six people who were in part of all 8 episodes. We have Michael Cooper Jr. as Justin Edwards. I had never heard of
I
Michael
never
Cooper Jr.
seen or
before
heard of
this.
him.
I had never seen him, but
Shout out.
bravo, young man.
Yeah, and he's got star power. I don't know if you've seen he and Lovey on some of these red carpets. Like, he's a charmer. Like,
Yeah,
he could be a young Michael B. Like,
yeah. Like, hey,
that
listen.
level of star power of watching a young person grow into um superstardom.
When people say they got it, and they don't, you don't have to explain what that it is. It's just they
Hmm.
got it. Michael Cooper Jr. got it.
For
He
sure.
did a very good job of, like, he made me feel awkward at times by his awkwardness, the awkwardness of Justin,
For sure.
and playing that character to a T. And he felt like a natural. And like I said, I'll share thoughts on my opening thoughts on it. But shout out to Michael Cooper Jr. We have Lovey Simone as Keisha
My
Clark.
girl.
Did an incredible job. She is a phenomenal actor.
Yes.
Phenomenal actor.
Did you watch
Davina.
Leaf?
No, I don't. I'm way behind on TV. I handle the movies, you handle the TV. I listen to you for suggestions, and we take it from there.
There we go.
But Davina and Raising Canaan, I do know her from that.
Yeah.
And the early season 1, season 2, something like that. Zosha Rockmore,
Mm-hmm.
that's Shelley Clark. Marvin Winans III, Legacy. Legend.
Yeah.
What legacy line? He's a younger brother, Jaden Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
Karen Pittman, another legend, is Don Edwards. And of course, like, one of my favorite actors
Mm-hmm.
ever, doesn't have one single bad role.
Mm-hmm.
Wood Harris
The
as Eric Edwards.
phenomenal
Um,
father. Top 5 TV dad.
so yeah, that's kind of, we'll tease it a little bit right now, Rachel. That was kind of my idea for another episode this month.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have a discussion about who are the best TV dads. I really want to break that down. And it's gonna be a little controversy because there's one person.
You know who America's dad is.
That's what I'm saying. So I
You
think
know
it's
what
worth
my
the
comfort show
conversation.
is.
I think it's worth the conversation
Mhm.
of, especially after seeing his performance as Eric, where the rankings are in 2025
Yeah.
and what goes into that. If you're down for it, we can plan something like that, Father's Day
Mhm.
edition. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And have that convo because it's very interesting. But he is. There's a lot of times when, and I have friends who work in education,
Mhm.
not higher education, like just high schools, and they'll tell me these new parents are trash.
For sure.
Um, and I'm looking at someone like Eric. I'm like, that's how I would want to parent if I was
Mhm.
the father.
Mhm.
You know, because he isn't the stereotypical. He's successful, but not the stereotypical. Went to college, got all the degrees.
Yeah.
He had a skill and was able to take it somewhere and happen
Mhm.
to, as he says, your mom's the best thing that ever happened to me. Married a woman who you can tell is not going to let him fall short of his talent.
For sure.
Um, Shout out to Black women.
Period.
And ended up making it to a different level. And I've heard that from people who are married also. Like,
Mhm.
once you marry a woman who's supportive and sees the best in you, like Nate told me that. He was like, man, like when I was started doing art, I was bullshitting. Like, I married Cole or got with Cole, man. I started selling pieces for X amount of dollars. She just
Mhm.
elevated me all the way around.
Yeah.
So I think that's really dope. So that's the principal cast. Obviously, there's more people. We'll
Mhm.
mention them as we go along. But I want to give them a shout out. I was a little bit late to the train. Everyone had been talking about forever.
Mhm.
And I've discussed how I am someone who I really dislike when everybody's talking about how good something is. Because when I
Yeah.
get to it, I don't appreciate it as much. The hype was completely justified for this series.
Mhm.
Um, I I was moved by it because not only is it just a great watch and a great story, great acting, great cinematography, great writing, great
Mhm.
directing. At 38 years old, it gave me an opportunity to look at it from two different points of view. The auntie uncle side of things, the parent side of things, where you've experienced enough life to know that your kids or these kids don't know anything,
Yeah.
and you still have to let them be themselves. But also watching that innocence. There's something about being able to go back mentally watching this and remembering the time when you didn't have a guard up
Mhm.
and when you weren't hurt and you were really just putting it all in
Yeah.
to a person. And maybe you were in high school, maybe it was college, whatever it was, but there's nothing like not even worrying about looking dumb, doing like you were just all into this person
Mhm.
and seeing that joy. And it makes you wonder, and this can be a downer of a conversation. It makes you wonder, like, damn, well, will I ever not be guarded enough to feel like that about somebody? Has life just done its course on me to the point where that won't be a thing? I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think a lot of people can probably feel that because it's a different type of thing. That first love is different.
For
That first
sure.
heartbreak is different, and you see the emotion. So seeing them go through it, it was just fascinating because I remember going through my first love. I
For
remember
sure.
having that first heartbreak, and I
Mhm.
know as an adult, you look at it and be like, damn, but you also understand because you went through it. And I think that's where Eric speaks to a lot of us because he kind of sees, hey, he's got to go through this shit. This is life. Like, hey,
Mhm.
it is going to get better, but you know, Justin and Keisha, or Justin particularly, doesn't know that yet.
Yeah.
Still in it. And I remember being in a phase where it didn't seem like you were going to come out on the other end of it
For
because you're
sure.
so love starved. Shout out to R.P. Senior. Um, or so in love, actually, for that
Yeah.
matter, that
Mhm.
you can't do it. So to see them navigate that and almost to myself be able to pen myself a mental letter about things
Mhm.
we could have done differently as a young kid, you know
Mhm.
you'll never get the opportunity, but it's cool to see it on screen and hope that it pans out. But you also know, as I think about season 2 in college, I also know, man, this shit ain't gonna get easier, bro.
No,
Yeah,
college is gonna be a whole other thing. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for that.
I've had many a discussion. We'll call it discussion
Mhm.
with some folks in college who had, people back home. Just saying, college is different.
God bless them.
I'm just saying, man. That's why I know, like, damn, man, Justin, shit. He gonna pop up that HU homecoming. He ain't gonna like what he gonna see.
Well, they're not together. So
They're not together. They're not together. Let's get into it, Rachel.
Mhm.
Let's go ahead and talk
Mhm.
about this. I have this broken down by characters, like we doing. We got y'all.
Mhm.
But I want to really. You could talk about Justin and Keisha, but it's got to be together in a sense.
Yeah.
They have their own individual things, but that's early in the season. So the first thing I want to really talk about is these characters individually. Justin is the kid that you would want to raise. We learn about his ADHD.
Uh-huh.
We know he's awkward.
Yeah.
There's a conversation with his mom early on. He says, "Hey, you know how I can sometimes say things that sound like an asshole, but I don't mean
Mhm.
it." Like he does that. That's that awkwardness and just that little quirk. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say before we learned that it was ADHD, I thought it was autism. I thought that they was gonna say that he had like Asperger's. Um,
I thought that's where it was headed too.
yeah,
Um, just because of some of the
the way
well,
he was
I just thought yeah, I
yeah,
just thought that's how it was. I just thought that's how it was. But he's a really nice kid, a
is.
really sweet kid.
Hmm.
Like if you were to raise, the phrase, that's the kind of kid you want your daughter to date. Like that's
Yeah,
exactly who he is.
for
He's
sure.
when him and Keisha reconnected at that New Year's Eve party for Chloe.
Hmm.
One of the first things he asked, or I think he might have asked it the next day, was like, was I? No, he asked her then. Was I nice to you back then? Like he
Yeah.
cared about that. Like
Hmm.
he cared about. And it's ironic. It reminds me of a conversation me and you just had. about like damn, like there's it means something to be nice to people and be
For
kind to
sure.
people. And he wanted to make sure he didn't fall short of that even after the time. But obviously there was an instant connection between them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool that she was the one that remembered.
Yeah.
He was kind of taken aback and was like, damn. When he first saw her, everything kind of stopped. The way they shot it,
Mm-hmm.
it was almost like everything around her blurred, and they were the only ones there for a second. And I thought that was really cool. We have Keisha, who obviously is in a whole different social class.
Mm-hmm.
She lives in Inglewood. The Edwards family lives in Hollywood Hills.
Yeah.
Single parent household compared to, um, the
Two.
family, the two parent household. Has to get up early to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to make ends meet. A completely different environment, not worse, just different.
Just different.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
We learned that, or we knew that Eric and Dawn were paying tuition upwards of maybe $40,000 for Justin to go to school, whereas
Mm-hmm.
Keisha, we learned that she had given up her scholarship, and so Shelly is paying for Keisha to go to St. Maria's. And
Mm-hmm.
again, Justin is getting driven to school by his mother every day until he gets his car, whereas Keisha has to your point, get up early to get herself to school, because me having my mother take me is going to be a stressor for
Yeah,
us both.
yeah, absolutely. And we also know, as you mentioned, full scholarship,
Mm-hmm.
incredibly smart, like smart to the point she's almost embarrassed by it.
Yeah.
She
Shout out to
wants
Urkel.
to shout out to Urkel, man, because she flips her test over when she gets 100%.
Mhm. Yeah.
She doesn't want to be an outcast, and obviously that's has to do with the whole sex tape scandal that we find out about. But
Mhm.
she doesn't want to be an outcast. She even talked to Justin about what did I remember. Justin said, "What do I remember about you? Like, why did you let them
When.
win?"
Mhm.
She said, "I slowed down to make friends." That means something to her as well,
Yeah.
because she is a special gifted child, track star.
Mhm.
Like I said, super smart. And as I mentioned before, as they're getting their own groove and getting reconnected, and I love how they do this all in one episode. They go on their first date,
Yeah.
have a nice moment in the store.
Mhm.
Justin's genuinely, hey, if you want this, I got you.
Mhm.
You see something's off when she ungrips his hand after they see Darius.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was yet. I thought maybe her and Darius had a thing,
Same.
you
Same.
know. And then
Mhm.
I hear the whispers, or if you have subtitles on, you can see it. Like, ain't that? I'm
Oh,
thinking, like,
girl.
okay, there's something going on. And I mentioned Justin being just a sweet young man, and you have to be a sweet young man to be 16. And there's only one way I know how to say this, so I'm just gonna say it. To be 16 and to pass up on a neck dinner in the movie theaters, you have to be the sweetest gentleman of all time. Like to genuinely care about that, because 16-year-olds are some of the most horny people in the world, and they wouldn't have give a fuck. But he cared so much that, hey, I want you to know. I hope you're not doing this because I did something for you. I want you to really like me, and I thought that was very sweet. And I'm being serious.
It was very sweet, but I don't know if it was that. I think it was also his own social awkwardness,
Mm,
in not being able to just enjoy it for the moment. I have to overthink it at this current juncture.
that could be it.
um
Ain't nobody overthinking that shit, but it's cool.
Also, he's a virgin, so
Yeah,
we don't know, and not the most popular person at his school either. So we don't know that he's had any previous neck dinner. We don't know. So there's also a level of nerves that come with that. If this is also your very first experience and you're a sheltered kid, he's not like Darius. Darius is all about it. Darius is seeking out putting
mm,
my name in the hat, because I'm trying to get what I came here for.
yeah,
That's not what Justin was on then. And so up to him being thirsty once he finally gets it, we don't know that he's had literally any prior experience. So I think there's also a level of nervousness that comes. And if you've ever
Well,
if you've ever encountered a virgin, uh, when you are the one with a greater experience level, it can get interesting because the nerves do come at no matter the age.
I was gonna push back on that,
Mm-hmm.
but you make great points as always. I'm thinking about my first. This is not intercourse, but just first
Mm-hmm.
sexual experience like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the one difference to your point was me and her discussed what was. It was almost like a this day, this time,
You
we gonna
knew.
do this. You
Mm-hmm.
knew it wasn't, and this was sprung on him. So maybe I'm not thinking about how awkward because obviously, like I said, I'm a grown man now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that would have been for me at that age because one of the things I always discuss as well, from an emotional standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
I can only speak for myself. I was way too young, and I wasn't even super young. Like, I wasn't one of these like 12, 13-year olds that be saying they be having sex. I wasn't even super young. I was 16 when I lost my virginity, and I think about that now. Like, damn. Like, I was 14 when I had my first like oral experience. 16 when I actually lost my virginity, and I always think about, my goodness, my man, you was so emotionally immature. Like, you like to even handle the things that you were doing. Like, it's
For
so much that
sure.
goes into that, and I'm able to look back at that now and say, or look at Justin in this sense. I'm like, I get it. I
Mm-hmm.
get it. Like, my first response was what I said, but now I'm thinking like, okay, if I was that age, maybe it would play out a little different if I wasn't expecting it.
For
But I
sure.
also thought that the sexual curiosity, which is why you do things like that at that age,
Mm-hmm.
and as we see an example with, his kissing cousin Shannon, there is a sexual curiosity, and they were seniors at that point. Like, you just reach a point during those teenage years
Mhm.
where I'm trying to get it in. I'm trying to see what this is about. I hear it all the time. I see it all the time, especially in today's generation. You can literally go on Twitter and stumble into some porn.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not. I was way too young.
Yeah.
I
We
was
all were. We all
definitely,
were too young.
huh?
We all were too young.
Yeah, definitely. But even younger than you. So,
I mean,
um,
listen.
what I will say, obviously, without being too anecdotal, what Keisha and Justin, and not that I have regrets, quote unquote, because I've lived a life, but what Keisha and Justin represent or reminded me of is our, it made me think at that age because I did quote unquote look older, even though looking back, bitch, no, you didn't. But I was the young girl, always talking to somebody I didn't have no business talking to, adults, yeah, legal, you know what I'm saying? But it made me think back to one of my little summer camp boyfriends. Shout out to him. Um, and
Drop the name.
huh?
Drop the name.
Hi, Orlando.
I was just fucking with you, but go
Yeah, no,
ahead.
that's my friend. Like,
Shout out to him.
that's my dog. But it made me wish I would have stayed with the young, nice boy, the boy that's my age. But I didn't. I was so intrigued by this older nigga who I ain't have no business talking to, who was just showing me all of this. You know what I'm saying? But and Keisha and Justin was like, damn, I wish I would have been doing the right things.
Hey, man.
Versus whatever bullshit I was on back then. But shout out to the nice kids who find each other.
Shout out to the nice kids who find each other. And yes, he did say it in a very odd way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even though you knew what he meant, it came off terribly. Like, are you
Yeah.
doing this just because? Like, that's really pretty much asking, are you a transactional person? Somebody
Mm-hmm.
does something nice and you give them some head in the theater. Um, and we don't know at the time, but she mentions the video that she's
Yeah.
yelling at Justin. Like, did you see it? Did they tell you about it? And he
Mm-hmm.
didn't know anything. And the sex tape, Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know where to be 16 years old have a sex tape go around your school. I couldn't even imagine what that
Crazy.
would feel like. And we don't even have to get into the. I think the show did a great job of it, so we don't even have to dive too deep into the whole man versus woman part of it. Like how different it is for a man to have a sex tape release versus a woman, and what that public conversation looks like.
For sure, totally different. Would the only thing, because I understand all of that, but what's crazy to me is, especially as someone who was in private school, pre-K through 12, if this rumor and video has floated all around the school, there's no way administration doesn't know.
Right.
And the fact that nobody called Shelly, nobody called Keisha's mama, nobody called anybody on the emergency contacts list. There's no other parent that reached out, because if Zach's mom know, I know that fucking anybody else mom knew. Chloe, you probably know, your parents probably know, and nobody thought to reach out to Shelly. Again, when I was a young girl doing the things, the parents knew. The parents knew. And so I just,
Damn.
yeah, man.
Pre-internet. I'm thinking about my parents definitely knew who was doing what. They knew what was
Yeah.
going on in who houses and who was all that. Damn. Pre-internet.
Pre-internet. So it was wild to me that nobody really advocated for this girl until Dawn.
Well, the only thing I agree with that, and the only thing I came up with is they had to have looked at it because this 100% happens. The guy in this video,
Mm-hmm. The
the
new little
lead
Mr.
basketball
Brown.
player,
Mm-hmm.
future donor.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
You know what I mean? Like all of
Yeah.
that. Like we're not no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
Family's not coming to us. They don't seem concerned, which is one of Shelly's issues. We just look like a
Mm-hmm.
family that don't give a fuck.
Which is what y'all
Um,
think anyway.
yeah, she made our life easier by leaving.
Yeah.
So we really didn't got to say shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No. It's not a public thing. Nobody's calling for any action. We just gonna keep this quiet. That's the only thing I could think of. Obviously, it wasn't delved into, but with him, I think if it was a regular degler,
It might have been.
absolutely. But
I didn't even think about the potential future donor aspect. I just thought um of this is one of our young stars.
that
And
too.
we're not going to be mired by scandal.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
the only reason I said donor because they painted it as this is a lock, this is a guarantee. It's not like a promising future.
Mm-hmm.
You never know where it's going to end up. No, this motherfucker going to be one of them
He gonna
ones.
be somebody.
Yes, he's going to have millions of dollars, and he's going to be able to donate. We're going to name the gym after him, the whole nine. That's how they do with the high school stars. It just is what it is. But yeah, going through that by herself, it's like I said, I couldn't really imagine, and it really is heartbreaking to see her have to change. You know, we didn't have the words, or maybe we didn't use the words when we were in high school, like depression, anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. It was a much different culture,
Yeah.
but to know she was going through that enough to where I'm got to give up the scholarship. My mom got to get another job.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing's happening to the other person that was in this tape.
Crazy.
Carrying and all that alone, I understand the whole Shelly aspect. Let me ask you this, since we're discussing it. What did you think about Dawn's stance of, have you ever been in a situation where you say something or I'm going to say something with your parents? And how do you think, or even if you don't want to get into that, like, what do you think about Dawn's stance and how she approached it? Was she out of bounds for that?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. So again, I was always the teen that was doing some shit. So I was on punishment. I was on punishment from November to start of November to the whole rest of that year in high school.
That's crazy.
I couldn't go to Afro. So y'all know my parent is a police officer. I could only go to Afro Ball one year because my older brother was on court and both my parents were chaperoning. If you're from Toledo, you know what Afro ball is.
I
So
chaperoned the Afro Ball, and I ain't even from Toledo.
yeah. Oh yeah. See, crazy.
Yep, yep,
It's a citywide dance
yep.
for
Chaperone.
all the
I
high
never forget that too. What an experience too. I was like, damn. I literally was there. Like, damn. I wish we had this in high school.
yeah, it's a dope thing. I don't even know if they still do it, but yeah, I could only go that year because my brother was on court his senior year. I didn't go back again till I was on court my junior year because niggas be on punishment.
You like that,
But
man?
I was the girl, one of my very good friends to this day. At the time in high school, her parents was like, "Nigga, you cannot hang out with Rachel right now. We don't know what the fuck she's on, but no, you cannot do it."
Mhm.
And so we found our way back to each other, and then I didn't understand it, quote unquote, but in hindsight, which is how I can look at Don't be like, bitch, no, get your little hoe ass daughter away from my sweet child.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I understand how that could be the thing. And for Dawn, for any parent, knowing that your child is carrying something so traumatic, something so heavy, something so adult, for
Yeah.
real,
Yeah.
alone, you need your family. You need your village, people to support you, to take care of you, to make sure that you are okay and have the tools that you need um to essentially come out on the other side of that. Parent to parent, woman to woman, I want to make sure, I want to talk to your mother. I want to make sure that she's okay. I want to make sure that you're okay. So I got it. But also, you and Shelly don't really have a rapport.
Mm-hmm.
Keisha and Justin was in like what, kindergarten, first grade together.
Kindergarten. Yep.
She didn't stay through eighth grade, and you stayed in contact and you continued to see this woman. Justin said, I have not seen you literally since then.
Mm-hmm.
You and Shelly recognized each other at the park, quote unquote. But again, this is kindergarten through 11th grade. You've not seen this woman, talk to this woman, nothing. So you doing all of this and wanting to do all of that with me when I don't fucking know you is also a lot.
Mm. Okay. That makes sense.
So I understand, and I understand her wanting to support Keisha, but it was a lot.
Yeah. And Dawn mentioned she has a chaotic parenting style,
Yeah.
and Justin mentioned she is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said because it's two sides to the coin.
For
It really
sure.
depends on where you're standing. Because if I had a kid, I would want someone to tell me, "Yo, your child's going through something fucked up."
Yeah.
Because children, I just don't think children are capable of understanding the love that their parents have for them.
For sure. For
I
sure.
don't think it's not an idea they can grasp
Mm-hmm.
a real way and know that they can do whatever and still be good.
Yeah.
Like, you might get some disappointment, you might get some anger, but the
Mm-hmm.
love never leaves.
Yeah.
And everything is smoothed out eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And it leads to moments like having to go to prom with someone you don't want to go to prom with because it looks crazy. It leads to moments like you finally connecting after you're up and down with Justin at the beginning. You're finally being able to connect at this baseball game, and now your
Mm-hmm.
mom bringing Christian, and that was awkward. And that's when we first learned Don ain't playing about her son.
Period.
Now I about to have my son out here looking crazy.
I was about to call her Zosha. Shelly ass pissed me off because you didn't even drop Keisha off at the park.
Mm-hmm.
But you went and brought Justin. I mean, Christian. I
Mm-hmm.
don't give a fuck. The same way he found his way to your house is the same way he could have found his way to the park. So the fact that you brought him was insane to me. You didn't even bring your own child.
Listen, when you the next LeBron James,
Concessions.
even Eric, Justin's dad had a
Mhm.
moment when he said, "Listen, if Jordan asked me to the prom, I'm going to the prom with Mike."
I
I think
understood
there,
that.
I think there's something about that, but yeah, that is still crazy when it's your child. Obviously, she changed her tone once she found out everything that happened, and she was
Yeah.
willing to take him down.
Mm-hmm.
But there seems to be a natural. Have you ever been around a young? I think Americans in general are fascinated with young, talented people.
Mm-hmm.
Talent is one thing, but if you're young and super talented, that's another thing. Um, and if you're around people who are close to people like that, they just want to be around it. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a pride. I don't know. It's like community in a sense. Like it's almost like
Yeah.
we made it together. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to really explain it outside of that. So I think that's part of it, but that's still your daughter. Um, as much as I want you to be with a black girl, I'm not gonna allow you to be disrespected.
Period.
We find out at the beginning of the next episode what Keisha and Christian were talking about. It looks like one thing. Shout out to Raising Canaan.
Mm-hmm.
What you see it, but you're looking at it wrong.
Yeah.
I understand Justin wanting to leave, not wanting to see that, not be there for it. That's that first. Once again, those first signs of why am I feeling this way? Why do I feel this jealousy? Like I really like this girl and she in somebody else's face. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to handle this emotion. Um, do you feel that Keisha was still doing a little too much in regard to maybe accepting the Nike invite and
Yes.
doing the training? Shout out to Hersey and Mercy, the Miller brothers, who were the basketball
Who the
players.
basketball players?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I
Was he
did.
doing too much with accepting all that?
I did, and I understand trying to get on. But also I felt like her and Christian was talking too long. So
Way too long.
even if she would have went over there, hey, chill out. Don't be over there talking to my mom. You trying to give me some other information. I'm cool. So that conversation went too long. Um Christian is being scouted in a different way than what Keisha is, the way we understood it. So honestly, I would be leery of doing other workouts and anything else with any sponsor, potential sponsor, if it's not cleared in the right way. Like you can expect that Christian has cleared all the channels for him, but I would be worried about it for whatever reason coming back or negatively affecting me in some way on some NCAA shit.
You know what's funny is you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned said that because now it brought this up. I don't know if you have an answer or not. My first response was going to be, well, NIL
Mm-hmm.
is in
But
place
you ain't got
now.
no deal. Mm-hmm.
Not only that, it's not 2024, 25. It's
Right.
2017. Do you know why they did that? Do you know why they went back in time like that? Was that ever? I didn't.
Um,
I didn't
I
look it up.
I didn't, but I thought it was to sort of like justify, quote unquote, some of Dawn's paranoia, especially around the driving and Justin being gone and being a young teen. This is after um pre George Floyd, but post Trayvon Martin.
Yeah,
So some of the
that's
deaths that
interesting.
happened in between then, I think that was heightened, meant to show why her sense of awareness was heightened in regards to Justin being out in the city as a young black boy, with a learning difference and thus a social difference.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That makes sense. Which means we'll probably get a time jump in season 2 because I'm
Mhm.
sure they're not fucking with COVID. So we'll probably get some kind of because I guess it's still because we start this series New Year's Eve 2017.
Mhm.
We go all through 2018, which is their junior year, 2019. So their high school graduates 2019.
Mhm.
So 2019, yeah, we'll get a freshman year and then probably a time jump.
Or we get there and then we come home because of COVID,
Or that, yeah. That
or
could happen.
she comes home because Justin is still at home.
That's a good point. Yeah. All right. Well, all right. We won't get into our season 2 stuff yet. Um, but what we were just talking about with what were we just talking about? Something with Keisha.
Well, we were talking about the NIL
Oh
essentially.
yeah. Just the whole aspect of she was doing too much in regards to being around Christian, because she never gave the impression that she was still into him. It was more so I feel connected because I have to cover my ass. We share this secret together, and I kind of need to make sure I don't push you to the point where you share it with other people or it gets out to my mom. My biggest thing in life right now is making sure my family doesn't know about this, which is understandable, completely understandable. I don't even know. And I thought it was an incredible scene between Keisha and Shelly of what that would look like, because how do you tell your and once again we'll talk about the gender differences in this.
For sure.
A daughter telling her mom, who her only worry is
You getting
outside of
pregnant.
making is not getting pregnant, outside of her not going to Howard, is her not getting pregnant. To tell her there's a sex tape going out about her, like,
Crazy.
it's insane. Like, and I just thought that it was very well acted. The tears, the hesitation, the reaction.
Yeah.
Just that I can't even process this shit right now. I gotta go. Sits her down, even says, "Hey, nobody was there for you. Like, somebody's got to pay for this. It's my job to protect you." Which, yes, it might look like you're doing a lot, Shelly, but I completely get it. My job is to protect you. Like, you've been out here carrying this weight for all this time, and nothing happened to anybody.
Yeah.
Christian, nobody. And, that's rough. That's rough. That's a tough situation to be in, especially as a parent.
Extremely.
But shout out to, even though it was a little bit of pressure, kind of rounding it back to what we originally started with. Shout out to Don for putting that shot clock there.
Yeah.
Because she probably knew, as a woman, you got to get some help for that.
For sure.
But we also saw Justin. He mentioned it to his parents when they told him Keisha got a sex tape. I'm helping her get through it because that's who y'all raised me to be.
Yeah.
And I love the fact, and that's one thing I love about the parenting style, because I love how when Dawn was talking to Justin, when she made the can't think right now.
Declaration? Announcement?
Yes. And told him, either you tell her or I will. Thanks for splashing water on my face, because I did jump to your how it affected you versus caring about that young girl. Like how flippantly everyone is talking about her.
Yep.
And they did have that good dynamic, but it was necessary. It was needed.
It was. It was.
Ultimatum was what I was about to say. Why it caught me 10 seconds later. Something I thought you would appreciate, Rachel. Justin's music. Early on, mainly because, and the reason I bring this up, early on, we see Justin talk to Keisha through music. Through their song. And we see Keisha do the same thing when they had that little fiasco between being blocked and unblocked. Are you a serial blocker? Serial blocker, unblocker?
Yes. I'm not nearly as bad as I used to be, obviously. As you recently learned, some people have to be unblocked for reasons. For important reasons. But
oh shit.
Yeah, I will block the fuck out of you. That's the long and short.
How does somebody become unblocked?
I'm not calling myself toxic, but one, if I feel like talking to you, I'll just unblock you. Two,
hey, I'll be like, what the fuck, man? Go somewhere.
I'm bored. What avenues, since you've been blocked, have you taken to contact me? Did you call me private?
Similar
Did you
to the
cash
show.
at me? Did you?
Wow.
Did you create one of them fake numbers that say unblock me? I don't know. It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in.
I ain't gonna hold you. I thought that one of the most player things I've ever seen, especially for someone that age, was getting his entire kindergarten class.
So dope. I love that. I love that. Shout out to Justin being innovative.
We talk about a lot on Culture Garden to come see about me.
Mm,
And we got y'all. Come see about me.
yeah.
Like pull up. Like if that's really what you want, pull up.
Mm-hmm.
And they both did that for each other
For
multiple
sure.
times
For
throughout.
sure.
It was frustrating to watch as um
An
we
old,
so what?
an old person.
Yeah, because the blocking, unblocking, the
Uh,
miscommunication, especially as the audience, because we know both sides, right?
yeah.
It's cool if we only got one point of view,
Mm-hmm.
and we were only on Keisha's point of view, and she texts, and we don't understand anything that's going on with Justin. He's just not responding. Okay, I get it. But since
Yeah.
we know his mom took his phone, it's like, no, like you just got back, and then
Yeah.
there was an incredible moment. Being honest, once again, I don't think kids understand how much
The
their parents
importance.
love them.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's a weird transition at times to watch your child, even though we don't have children, to watch your child grow from this little small person you care for to someone who can drive and someone who can make their own decisions and
Mm-hmm.
is thinking about college. Um, that's one of the big dynamics and one of the big themes that Eric and Don kind of went back and forth about. Like, let him be a man, let him grow up. Being honest about what's going on in your life, just simple stuff,
Yeah.
simple shit, as Eric
Yeah.
said. Talk, communicate. Had you told your mom that you sent that email
Mm-hmm.
and lied to this driving instructor because you wanted to go see Keisha, you wouldn't have to do none of that. She probably would have hooked it up for you. Like, lead with that next time. Like, you with a black girl, like, there's nothing more your mom wants for you to be than there's nothing more that your mom wants to be successful other than to be successful with a black girl.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much what he said. And if Justin just said that, I think it would have worked out. You can kind of made a face like maybe not.
Um, no, I don't. Even if you wanted to see her, I still don't think Dawn would have been like, okay, yeah, go during your driver's ed. I don't think she would have. I don't think she would have even organized it after the fact because even though she liked Keisha, she still had a side eye.
Okay, that's fair.
So probably not. You know how these mothers and their sons be.
That's fair. I didn't think about. Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's a great point because he didn't know where else to find Keisha
Right.
other than at school during those times.
Right.
But driving instruction is after school.
Mhm.
He could have got his mom would have pulled up, like she would have.
But he also remembered the email he was dismissed from the afternoon. So you skipped class and did this extra shit with the driving instructor.
But you ain't no way you skip a class and still going to driving school. Like, you know, I'm sure that's already set. If you show up there early, then they're gonna tell too. I would imagine.
But maybe he didn't.
So what he skipped school for? That's what I'm trying to figure
He's a
out. I don't know.
teenager. Who
Kids be doing
knows?
dumb shit. Yeah, kids be doing dumb shit. There's no point in trying to figure that out. But pulling back up, telling her like, "Yo, unblock me. Stop playing with me."
Mhm.
I can't remember. I lost track of all the times they kind of went back and forth,
Yeah.
trying to fight for each other.
Mhm.
We'll talk about the Vineyard episode here in a second.
Mhm.
Was that your what was your favorite episode? Did you have one?
It might be the Vineyard. It very well might be. It might be the penultimate.
Okay.
That where we meet her father. Shout out to Will Catlett.
Yeah, shout out to Will Catlett.
Um, maybe it's that. It's the introduction of her father. I think
Okay.
that would be.
Okay. Not a bad episode to be your favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned Justin and his music in regard to speaking through it. We later see him meet Rodney, who is
Mm-hmm.
also a producer,
Yeah.
up and coming producer. Something to be said about that moment when you realize. Here's the unique thing about Justin. Justin's life has been kind of planned out for him.
Mm-hmm.
His mom has such a major role into what his next steps are for success.
Yeah.
She doesn't. I don't want to say she doesn't want him to be like his dad, but she wants it to be a little bit more structured.
Mm-hmm.
His dad had a natural talent and gift to
Right.
where you know, he can make something like that happen. I want you to go a traditional route. I want you to go to the same school as I did because
Mhm.
I've seen firsthand what these connections and networks can do. And I think it'll be great for you. For him to be able to find a moment where it's like, oh no, I want to do this,
Yeah.
and kind of go through, mm, do I disappoint my parents by trying to lead my own path? I
Mhm.
thought that was very fascinating. That was a very interesting thing to witness firsthand because I can understand that. You don't want to disappoint your peoples, especially when your dad's crying to you about how you the first Edwards man to take us here.
So yes, and I know I'm fast forwarding, but I want to make a note that Dawn mm, made a note saying that her job is organizing people's lives. So we know that that is what she does as a career. So her wanting Justin to follow a similar path and a more structured path, knowing that he has challenges, was not far off from me. And I know I'm about to fast forward in regards to what I'm saying, but we saw Justin at Keisha's prom, the Black Catholic school, um, provide a totally different experience than what he was able to have at his own prom. And it was his inaugural Black event. And as somebody who went to private school, I know what that looks like, the difference when I was finally able to go to one of the public schools homecoming versus my own at Central, which even though at the time it still had the most black people of all the Catholic schools, but it is not the same as going to Scott's homecoming or Rogers' homecoming. Is and so I know what that difference is feeling like. Oh shit, what the hell? You know,
Mm-hmm.
when I was
What the
able to
hell?
Afro ball, I'm like, oh, this this is what y'all got going on, not this shit that we're doing. And it is a difference, and it is a cultural phenomenon in knowing that Uncle Charlie, I believe he went to Howard as well.
Yes.
Um, even though Dawn went to Northwestern, I was actually very surprised that maybe the HBCU discussion hadn't happened or wasn't taken seriously when Charlie presented it. Even prior to that, like I had a scholarship, a full ride to UT, full tuition and books, and a separate one for room and board. Any desire at that point that I had to go to anywhere else was out the window because my
Mm-hmm.
parents paid for me to go to private school, pre-K through 12. So you're gonna go where it's free to go, and you can get the fuck up out this house with your wild ass, you know. So we talked about living on campus. I think that was on Culture Garden this week,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
blah 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 blah. I was surprised that they did not consider Charlie's suggestion of that because it's sound advice. Go here, go be around your people, especially for Dawn to have wanted so badly for uh Justin to be with the black girl. You want him to want somebody like you, but he is surrounded by white women. I don't think that we saw, it was a handful of black girls at that school and probably not in his grade. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but you want him to date, you want him to have the fullness therein. They're in Hollywood Hills, not Baldwin Hills. Um,
Yeah.
I don't want to say you're isolated, but still want you to have this black experience. I don't know how often y'all get back to New York to kick it with Eric's people. With Dawn's people, y'all going to Martha's Vineyard. Yeah, it's the black side. It's Oak Bluffs, but
Yeah.
that's still a very different cultural experience because it's still Martha's Vineyard, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't Justin, even then when he proposed the issue to Keisha of him going to Howard and wanting to have that experience and seeing the Northwestern mixer and not wanting to have that discomfort? You're in LA. Hey, go to Bowie. Go to Morgan. You want to go to New York? Go to the black school in New York. I can't think of what it's called. I was gonna say Lehigh, but that's not it. I think I don't know. Don't give me the lying. Go to Morehouse. Go to Hampton. Go
Right.
anywhere. You don't have to go and be up under her. And I understood, and I only mentioned Bowie State and Morgan because they're in Maryland versus being right on top of Keisha in DC. It's close enough, but it's enough shit going on my
Yeah,
campus.
Morgan.
I don't have to get down to DC if I don't want to, you
Yeah.
know?
Morgan and Baltimore is 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But that, I mean, with traffic, oh, excuse me, Morgan's in Baltimore.
Yes.
Baltimore from DC on no traffic is about 45 minutes to an hour.
Yes.
You're never going to run into no traffic there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. That's a great point that you make, Rachel, because even Toledo to BG was only a 20-minute drive, but
Yeah.
that
It's
felt
nothing
like
to
an
do
actual voyage trying
Yeah.
to get to BG and back. You had to arrange it. You ain't
Uh-huh.
about to be back and forth to campus all the time, but we still close enough to where we could for
Right.
some of the big stuff. We can take a couple trains,
Right.
do whatever we need to do. So that's a great point. I know Medgar Evans
Mm-hmm.
is
Evers.
Thank you. Evers is predominantly black institution, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
a HBCU, and that's the only thing they have in New York.
Oh, okay.
But either way, let's talk about this.
Ain't
Let's just
Lincoln
get into
in
it.
New York? Lincoln ain't Lincoln University?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I could be wrong. Gotta find out now.
That's
in Missouri.
Oh, just kidding.
No, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Got it.
Pennsylvania.
So go there. Shit, it's close enough.
Yeah.
It's enough stuff that there are enough other black schools that you could go to have that experience and not be following behind her, because I do think her father made a point which she started to pay attention to, like, goddamn, get your own thing.
The only thing that I can think of is Uncle Charlie did say in that very same scene, you're still under the belief that everything white is right. And there must be something in Dawn's, just the way she sees life and the way, listen, if you're successful and you found your success in life, then I would imagine it's pretty natural for you to believe that's the way to do it. Right? She was probably raised to be taught this is the way you should have success. She did it. It worked. So it's only natural for her to say, all right, Justin, this is the way we're going to go. We're going to go to Northwestern. There's a lot of times, my mom told me, my sister went to FAMU. My mom told me, nah, bro. This is years after. I don't want to get this misconstrued. I wasn't in high school and wanted to go to HBCU, and she said no. But she also knew if it got brought up. She told me this as an adult. Like, me and you and Angel are completely different. Where Angel is like a Keisha. Like Angel was like one of the. She was in the America's Top Scholars books and all that stuff. Like summa cum laude.
Shout out to Erica.
3 degrees, law degree, engineering degrees, all of that. She's that.
Yeah.
Me? Nigga, you going to FAMU? Come on. Like,
you be coming right back.
Yeah, you going to Toledo.
Look to your left. Look to your right.
Yeah, look to your
One of y'all won't be here next semester.
You going to Toledo was a stretch. So I wonder if some of that was in Don too. Like maybe it would be such a shock.
Yeah.
In knowing that you need all the academic help you can get, that we focus on a more strict academic environment for you to maybe help you through that and put you through the fire. I'm not sure.
I
am surprised. Like you said, I am surprised that they didn't consider it more. And it doesn't have to be Howard. Be anywhere, like you said.
I hear you about the rigor in knowing that he needs extra help, but y'all also have $40,000 for this private high school
and a tutor and a private tutor.
Get that same tutor. I watched what's Michael Orr's story? I watched The Blind Side.
Yeah.
Get you a tutor in that dorm. This, that, and the third. Y'all clearly got it to be able to afford that. But you could. he wasn't going to Northwestern on scholarship, so I would only imagine that y'all were going to be paying. He said, "Did you already send a tuition check?
Mm-hmm.
If you can afford just to sign over a check to Northwestern, you can afford to pay for me to go to Morehouse and have a tutor and have
Yeah.
help. All these schools got IEPs and whatever else. Get me to the learning center."
That's real.
But don't think the white man ice is colder, and that's fine. Which is surprising because Eric doesn't give that at all.
Eric doesn't, and I don't know. Some people are just like that, and they can
I
still be, and they can still
understand.
be as black as you would expect them to be.
Mm-hmm.
But just for some reason, this is the way. This is the
Yeah.
path,
Yeah.
and that can be difficult for someone like Justin,
Mm-hmm.
who maybe shies away from living his own dream. Because I think
Mm-hmm.
once again, not a parent. I think once you have children, your life stops becoming about you. You
For
make
sure.
spaces for yourself, but it really is to make sure you make the best life for your child, while still learning how to enjoy what life is for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you would want to do that by having your child live a lie or not pursue the things that they want to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure, there's some concern and what are you going to do with music? Like, are you going to make money from this? Is this a real thing?
Mm-hmm.
Even when what's Keisha's dad name? Will
Um,
Will Catless?
I know. I was about to say Charlie, but that ain't it.
Yeah, Charlie Uncle. Dang, I don't know. I thought I wrote it down.
Quincy.
What is it?
Quincy.
Quincy. Even when Quincy was pressing him at the party, right? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
you just make beats, huh? You just do this.
Yeah.
Just kind of putting it out there. Yeah, it's a little abrasive and a much. Quincy saw himself in Justin,
Yeah.
where I think a
For
lot
sure.
of, and I don't think it's a Quincy Justin thing. I saw myself in Justin. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Just that I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what's next. I'm lost. Like you are the one constant and the one thing that I really care about.
Yeah.
I'll tell you as someone who is aloof, I will admit I'm aloof and very
Mm-hmm.
nonchalant about things. When you find that something, whether it be a woman, whether it be a hobby, that gets you going,
Yeah.
it really can go from 0 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
Because the feeling is so unusual, right? It's not a common everyday thing. Where it's easier to be more even keeled, but it's like, oh snap, I really care about this. I really like this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you keep going towards it. And Quincy saw that and was like, nah, bro, he don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on. Like boys who like you never mean to hurt you. I think that's something he told Keisha,
For
which is a
sure.
bar. That's never what they mean to do. Like they just so into it that they just doing things. Like I never got, your mom got pregnant low key because of this.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? This isn't. Trust me, live your life, and that's something all people should do. Like
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't have a high school girlfriend to the point where we having conversations about college and doing what. Like I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
imagine. Like I said, I've seen those freshman couples
Mm-hmm.
trying to make it work at different schools. It rarely, rarely, rarely works.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult, man. There's too much going on in college. New experiences. And we saying this as adults. 18, 19, first time? What? Nigga, what?
Yeah.
Girlfriend.
I too wish I had. Well, see, you say you wish you glad you didn't have a little high school girlfriend. I wish I did, versus being in high school, leaving the voicemail to somebody that was in jail for 2 months. I know you can't get.
Oh my
Hey,
goodness.
I know you can't get this, but when you get
I
out,
got
I thought about you today.
there was a moment before we started recording this where Rachel said something and I just said, I'm not gonna unpack that right now. And I'm gonna choose the same option right now. I'm not gonna unpack that right now. We're just gonna keep it moving. They have multiple not fucking with you, Rachel. I got questions. I got questions, but I ain't fucking with you. 'Cause I really want to know what. You know what? No.
It said parent was there when they got arrested.
Oh shit! Are you wild? You a funny motherfucker.
Oh God.
Um,
Mm, mm, mm.
in regard to Keisha and I was about to say Rachel. In regard to Keisha and Justin, we have seen, for those keeping score at home, they weren't an official boyfriend girlfriend situation
Mm-hmm.
until episode 4.
Right.
So all this stuff, the back and forth,
Did I wake up with a girlfriend?
right.
Did you?
Shout out to that. You know what I mean? Just those
Mhm.
cool moments. I've had the moments back in the day, falling asleep on the phone. We didn't have FaceTime back then, but falling asleep on the phone with someone,
Mhm.
waking up still on the phone, like what? Like all types of wild shit. So
Oh,
really head ass shit.
I
A
still
lot
do
of head ass shit going on. Like the
I
sit-ups,
still do that.
he said you still
Good morning.
the sit-ups with him kissing her every time he comes up, like just very head ass. But understandable. Can't make
Yeah.
fun of it because young love, it's cute. What can you say? I forget exactly because there were so many of them. I forget what transpired to where he wasn't fucking with her. He had to block her. Was it
Mhm.
because of the prom? Because
Yeah.
she went to the prom. Okay.
Hmm.
Yes. Keisha goes to prom with Christian. Justin said it's too much. Like
Yeah.
I love you. Like, I'm not.
I
I
gotta
can't.
block you
I
from
understand why you're doing it. You got to keep appearances. I'm not doing
everything.
that.
Hmm.
I was about to say something really out of pocket, but I'm not.
Good job.
Yeah. Keisha pulled her ass up to Martha's Vineyard,
And did.
and we can get into my favorite episode.
Hmm.
3 months after prom, Keisha's actually been blocked longer than that because she was
Yeah.
blocked before prom. On the lookout for Justin, all the way in Nantucket. Got to go all the way up to Oak Bluff.
Hmm.
3 buses and a bike ride.
Hmm.
Sees Jaden and also sees Don.
Hmm. That heifer.
And the look on Don's face,
Hmm.
because one, there's always a what are the coincidence, but two, you fucked over my son.
Period.
So I'm gonna keep it cute, but I don't fuck with you for real.
Hmm.
And I don't like the fact that you smiling and acting like you happy to see me when you play with
Right.
my son.
My son couldn't get out the damn bed behind you.
Yeah, you know what? That's not talked about enough, Rachel.
Yeah.
The people who are there to help pick up the pieces,
Hmm.
they see things. Like usually when you get into these whole breakup things, and let's take the high school aspect out of it, just in general, the whole breakup situations. Oh, your friends don't like me. Da, 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 da. It's not necessarily because you did some fuck shit. It's because they saw how it affected the person
Come
that they
on.
love.
Hmm. Hmm.
I saw what you were capable of, and you really hurt someone that I love very, very, very much.
Yeah.
That's why I don't fuck with you. It's not because you did this mistake. And that's what Keisha's mom, excuse me, that's what Don was doing.
Hmm.
Like, this nigga was out of it all day. 5011 missed calls, 5011 missed text messages,
Hmm. Hmm.
not eating,
Not eating.
not
Can't
getting out
go
of
to
clothes,
sleep.
like literally just
In the
outside clothes
bed.
in the bed.
Ugh.
You get what I'm saying? Like, this
Mhm.
man was going through it. And I can't sit here and pretend. And I'm not going to tell nobody that I saw him. And I love him
Yeah.
and her and Eric having that combo.
Hmm.
And I will tell you right now, when she mentioned that she saw him and he kind of reacted in a certain way, and then Jaden knows too, like, oh, come on, what we doing? Like,
Yeah.
you can't do that. Eric and Justin on that bench.
Hmm.
That was one of the I will say that's my favorite scene in the entire season.
Okay.
Playing basketball, and then just says, I want to talk to you about Keisha. Well, first, one of the things that made it my favorite scene, before they got to the Keisha, he said, I want to talk to you about something. Justin says, you and mom getting a divorce. And he was so baffled. Like, why would he bring that up? He said, it's trending. He said, man, your mom's the best thing to happen to me. Like,
Mhm.
if something happens, she left me.
Yeah,
We did some real shit. That's how I want to feel about girlfriend, wife, whoever.
for sure.
Partner. If anything happens, she left me. I ain't never leaving that woman. That's the best
Mhm.
thing that happened to me. Black love. Like, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful to see it.
Amen.
He couldn't even fathom the idea of getting a divorce from his mom. Like, what? Like, that
Mhm.
doesn't make sense. Um, Men run away from women who are a lot because they ask so much of us.
My
Bar,
Lord.
bar. If you keep there's a plethora of ways he goes in this conversation, right? He
Mhm.
goes to don't be scared. To also, you got something beautiful right in front of you, Shannon. That's how I know you still love Keisha. And you're
Yeah.
not gonna pay her no mind. You hide from all this stuff, you making beats.
Mhm.
The fact that you don't want to give her a shot at this point of life. Keisha's on the island. Your mom saw her.
Mhm. What you gonna do?
What you gonna do? And probably my favorite part, or my favorite part of the conversation, really is the love hurts because you found a part of yourself that's worth protecting, right?
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
found a boundary. Hold on to it, but don't hide. To get that advice at 17, 18,
Mhm.
you can't measure it.
Yeah.
It's learning about boundaries, putting those words with those feelings,
Mhm.
and also being able to tell them, like, bro, like, you blocked her? Yeah, it's easier. Nah, man, we don't want easy.
Mhm.
Trust me, you don't want easy in this life. You got to go through that fire. You say you a man, right? Man got to go through the fire, so who he is on the other side. That's a bar, some real shit.
Yeah.
You don't know who you are till you go through some shit, like some shit.
Mhm.
I don't know how the fuck I made it through that shit.
Yeah.
So incredible parent to son advice.
For sure. For sure. And that's why I just wanted to give you freeway
Yeah.
to land
With
that.
the do for love in the background, like, oh, shout out to Bobby Caldwell. I know it's a slow Snow Allegra version. Shout out to Bobby Caldwell.
Shout out
It's
to Bobby
beautiful. It's a
Caldwell.
beautiful scene with the music, everything. We didn't
Mhm.
talk about the soundtrack. Soundtrack to this, I think,
Phenomenal.
did I read there was the same music producer from, or not producer, but I don't know what they call it, music editor from Insecure?
Music director, maybe
Yeah, they were actually, yes, because they used the same song in that
Daniel
flashback scene with
Caesar
Lawrence.
home.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh,
All right, my bad. Go ahead, Rachel.
I immediately thought about you when that came on because that also is linked to your favorite episode of Insecure with
Yeah.
uh Lawrence and Issa reconnect very much so like Justin and Keisha. I wanted to ask you, and we didn't see it, but just coming off of Eric's advice, did you think that prior to Shannon specifically and directly telling Justin that she wanted to get to know him in a better way, um, do you think that she had been publicly flirting with him in front of the rest of the family and they were peeping, and because Justin was so locked up in his room just not seeing it? Or do you think that Eric was pushing Shannon just because she is a young beautiful girl that is here, also has her head on her shoulders, her head on straight, and you know her and they know her?
I think it was the latter for Eric. I think it would have
Okay.
been the former for Don. If
Okay.
Don was having this conversation, it would have felt almost like, hey, we've arranged this marriage for y'all since y'all was kids. Like,
Got
it
it.
would
Got
feel like some Game of Thrones shit
it.
where Justin even knew it. Like, he is so, once again, going back to the age and experience.
Yeah.
I only know you. Like, I know we're not related, but we're like family.
Right.
Like, we're basically
Like
cousins.
cousins.
She
Mhm.
said we can be kissing cousins. I don't give a fuck about none of that. But I think it was just more so of Eric knowing what Justin's going through and what that
Mhm.
feels like. And also, let me test the waters. Let me
Mhm.
bring up Shannon and see how he reacts. Because if he reacts if he looks up and gives me a smirk or a smile, then
Mhm.
maybe I know, okay, then my son's all right. Maybe there's a little bit
Right.
of hope.
Right.
But if you hide in your room, away from everybody,
Mhm.
isolated, Shannon, she's right there, perfect fit for your age range.
Mhm.
Boom.
Got it.
I'm cool. So I think that's all that was. Um, what did you think about Shannon being so forward with it? And I know that's a thing, right? The whole "I don't want to go to college virgin" thing. What do you think about her being so forward with? I about to say that wasn't. Yeah, we had already crossed that off the checklist.
um I appreciate, again, I need to see her titties, but I appreciated it just because closed mouths don't get fed. And here I am taking control. If I'm Shannon, here I am taking control of the situation. It was almost some bullshit, and I got far enough to understand that I don't want that to be my first time. At least I will know that this is not in some it, it ain't somewhere random.
She said that. At least I know it's something I'll remember forever.
I'll
What?
remember forever with somebody who I won't lose contact with. We are cousins, you know.
Mhm.
You'll always be around, and that'll just be something special that we have between us. And if it turns into something, okay. But if not, no harm, no foul. I wasn't mad at her staking her claim. And also, Shannon's not a hater. So
Shannon's
even
not a
though
hater.
she wanted to experience this with Justin, she recognized that while this is special due to our relationship, I understand that you are clearly still in love with somebody else. So also in hindsight, maybe I don't necessarily want to lose my virginity to somebody that I know is in love, but I'm gonna give you the game. I'm gonna show you how to get to these blocked voicemails. Did you leave me a voicemail while you were blocked? Hello?
I had no idea if that was a thing.
Are you serious?
I do not check messages to begin with.
Fair.
So I had no idea block messages were even a thing. And I don't block people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A block voicemail. I'm going to that folder if I know I done some blocking.
I got it. Listen, all y'all can hold me accountable to that. I told Rachel earlier, had a conversation. I'm gonna get much better responding to text messages, DMs, all types of stuff. I'm terrible at it. I gotta get better.
Yeah. Amen. We all do. I'm horrible at it too, but I'm not committing to getting better at it because I don't want to right now. I need to, but it's not in my wheelhouse at this current juncture. Um, but I love you. I I appreciated that she showed him how to get to the messages, and she said, "You know what? If she left you one, I'll back off. But if she didn't, come on with it." You
Mm-hmm.
know. Not only that, when we realized that not only did Keisha leave one message, she left a series of messages. I've watched the show that you're into, and I'm going to talk to you about it, whether or not you're talking back. Hey, that's a come see about me. I appreciated the
Straight up.
effort in which that she was showing it, even through the montage of voicemails. She ain't get tired of talking to herself because it still was some connection to him. When she and Chloe and Catherine and Uncle Mike finally did come around to the Bluffs together once we reconnected in the barn, um Shannon was right there kicking it with them.
Mm-hmm.
She ain't act funny. My girl could have been funky. Cause bitch, that little nut was supposed to be mine.
She could have, but she did it. You're right.
But she kept it player and she
Real
kept it
true.
cool because
Real
again, the love that she has for Justin, despite whatever it could have been, I see what you're doing and I'm rocking with you and I love you enough. I'm not gonna make it awkward. And you finally got your girl back. I'm not gonna cause further tension. Be like, well, I guess our plans are canceled, which
right.
depending on my mood.
Hey man, she could have easily said, "I ain't got nothing to do with me."
For sure.
Whether
Couldn't
she
get
there or not, I'm
okay, y'all
still.
not
We
together
still
yet.
going
She here, so what?
there. Mm-hmm. Since we're in Martha's Vineyard,
Mm-hmm.
somebody I want to see more of in season 2 want to see a little bit more, maybe one or two more scenes with Uncle Mike. Um, Uncle Charlie, excuse me, not Uncle Mike, Uncle
Uh-huh.
Charlie. And the reason is because I don't know how honest. Not everyone's blessed with honest adults in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Not all youth are. They still, and it's a fine line between not killing someone's dream and being very realistic with them.
Mm-hmm.
When Justin's telling them, my plan is to go to Northwestern, walk on,
Walk
make it to
on.
the NBA, make it to the NBA, like NBA. And nigga, that video was cute and shit, but nah, bro. Like that's not it.
That's one highlight.
Yeah, he was like, you know what? I ain't even gonna go there. He stopped because he
Mhm.
knew when it was going too far, but he was just
Yeah.
also wanting to let him know, like, bro, like this is, and that's what people that age need to hear. Not necessarily that you can't do it, but you are at a point where you can't just lock in on that. There's got to be some other
Mm-hmm.
things that you want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
That was an honest, real conversation. He had the same HBCU conversation. Now give me another drink, so cause we about to be here and talking about you.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Grandpa George as well.
Mm-hmm.
I like this character. Obviously,
Yep.
we've talked about him before in different
Mm-hmm.
movies. Um, if you're not growing, you're decaying. That was a bar,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to find a way. He told Keisha, you have to find a way to find Howard in your life today.
Yeah.
Just a very, very important reminder about being in the present and finding the joy in what you have
Mm-hmm.
instead of chasing something. Because if that's the case, you're gonna spend your whole life chasing and not living and enjoying.
Yeah.
And that's just an important reminder. So both of those characters maybe a little bit more of, but as we move on and they're happy, well, I want to make sure I covered everything from the vineyard. Well, I guess the last thing is they're happy, everything's good. Now Keisha gets outed to Don.
Crazy. These parents be
Unexpectedly,
talking.
parents be
These
talking. That's a real
parents be
thing.
talking.
It's a real thing, absolutely. And kind of what you alluded to earlier, the fact that you knew and didn't say nothing. You would think a parent would at least run to administration on some, yo.
Are y'all aware that this is the kids are talking about this and sharing this? It's especially one of them parents.
Yeah. We already talked about the whole Keisha having to tell her mom. We talked about the dawn of it, so we don't even have to dive into that.
Mm-hmm.
They get through it, but now it's coming down to early decision day. Justin's at his dad's restaurant. The idea is approached. What if I just go to? Oh no, I'm sorry. That was at prom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The idea at the restaurant was, do you still want to be together in college?
College. Mm-hmm.
And that's when things start getting into the second half of this story
Yeah.
to close out these last few episodes. Where once again, Rachel, I didn't have anyone that I was attached to. So
Mm-hmm.
on some, what are we gonna do after we leave? It was pure freedom.
Yeah.
We know, having lived that life, no breakup. I know it's cute. I know it's cool. We're
Mm-hmm.
rooting for you. Shout out to Tyra Banks. But
Mm-hmm.
you about to be in DC. He thinks
Yeah.
he's gonna be in Chicago. We know that's not the case. Don't do it. The breakup factor in this. Well, even before that, right? We have Darius saying, because we'll get to the whole Howard thing. We have Darius telling him, you might as well apply to Howard because
Mm-hmm.
you won't survive without Keisha. Keisha's busy. Like she's starting to
Yeah.
get more of a social life. She's getting closer to leaving. Justin's on some, oh, so you were out all day, huh? Oh, okay. Like you don't want to be that type of boyfriend. You don't want to be that dude.
You don't, but
You
here
do
we
not want to
are.
be that dude. Oh, okay. How about you pull up? I'm tired. You tired? Oh, you tired now.
Mm-hmm.
Once niggas start hearing that I'm tired or I'm busy, you will find out what kind of man he is,
For sure.
one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
One way or another.
Mm-hmm.
If he feels like he's getting spun, you're gonna find out what kind of man he is. And he even starts to show that emotional side. Oh, you with your Howard boyfriend? Already off to a bad start.
Get
And
off
then
my goddamn phone.
yeah, and then we get to prom, Rachel.
Yeah.
Another great scene moment.
Excellent
There,
montage.
Excellent montage. Their after prom was at an amusement park on the beach.
Hold
I don't know.
on.
Yeah.
Before we get to the prom, I do want to highlight when we met Quincy, when
Oh yeah.
Darius is there, you know, which one of y'all is the boyfriend?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we have an absent father who has to come in and state his claim. I thought the relationship and the dynamic between Quincy and Shelly was very interesting because we see this mother who is here and present and doing the things, but you and your baby daddy still got a funny little thing. And Keisha made mention of that, like not so much what he does to me when he comes back in, but what he does to my mom. So clearly, y'all still getting it in too, low key.
Listen, they had the pajamas every
Match your
year.
every
On
year.
the timeline, I see people talking about the matching pajamas.
Mm-hmm,
I'm
mm-hmm.
about to be in the matching pajamas this year.
We gonna come. I'm gonna do that. But you talked about being a man of a particular age and not being focused. But Quincy, did you feel like he was a bit over the top in his antagonization of Justin when they first met?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. That is something. Once again, a little bit of a generational gap.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, if you're depending on your age, if you're listening to this, you don't know what it's like to call a girl and having to talk to her mom, having to talk to her
Mm-hmm.
dad. There's
Mm-hmm.
no cell phone. You call in the house. So
Yeah.
whoever answer, if she don't answer, nigga, it ain't no just hand over the phone. Like, nigga, who is you? Who is this? As you get older, as you get around Justin's age, I
Mm-hmm.
specifically remember a time meeting a woman I was dating. I remember meeting her dad. Her dad was not as over the top as Quincy, but he was a
Yeah.
little bit over the top. Very trying to pressure you, trying to see if you're gonna sweat. And I didn't. And I remember she pointed out to me, she was like, man, she thought it was so dope that I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like fold under pressure because I
Never
guess
cared.
nah, you know what I'm saying? Cool ass Kieron, as Rachel
Cool
said.
ass Kyron forever.
But that's the thing. Like niggas want to see what's going on. We've seen the
Yeah.
funny side of it too. We've seen Bad Boys too, and
That's how I say everybody wants their bad boys too.
yeah, we seen the
Oh,
Den of Thieves moment. You know what I mean? Where niggas is on some like, bro, same thing happened to this girl. I like the fact that he shook his hand at the end
yeah.
of it.
Mm-hmm.
The initial part of it was a little bit cool, but then he got way too carried away.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Now you talking about some oh, so you just a beat. I'm glad that George Kane stepped in. Like, nigga, what you do? You ever
What?
made a song?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, you can tell why Quincy is who he is, why Keisha described him the way she did.
For sure.
You also see the charm. You see the
Mm-hmm.
charm, and you see why there's still a relationship there.
Yeah. And Will
Um,
Catlett has a good voice.
there is there's something to be said when we see these stories with a child, a father who's not around.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually a contentious relationship
Yeah.
where it looks like Keisha was like, nah, like we have Keisha being smart, just mature beyond her years in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's able to say, all right, maybe the relationship doesn't look like the traditional one, but we're going to find out what it looks like for us.
Yeah.
And they had their own thing and their own understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So where she didn't hold a bunch of hate or resentment. I don't even know if she could live like that. And maybe it would have been worse if Shelly was spiteful, but Shelly
Yeah.
was like, shit, you in town? Come through. Like, what's
Come,
up?
come stay.
Yeah, we'll be on some holiday shit. We'll be on some family shit. And, you know, they were on the Alicia Keys Marshall shit way before all of us. So you just try to figure it out, man. I think that's all relationships, right?
Yeah.
You just try to figure it out and you think it looks like this. Shout out to Drum. Not really, not the actor. But shout out to the character when he talked about Candace, like, listen, we just found out that a traditional marriage doesn't work for us.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get into some other things. But either way, I'm rambling.
Right. Prom.
Let me ask you this. I do want to talk a little bit more about Eric. Let's talk about. I'm gonna talk about Eric and then we'll end with Prom because Prom is pretty much wrapping up this whole
Mm-hmm.
conversation and wrapping up season one. I know I said it earlier. just so many things that I enjoyed about the character of Eric.
Yeah.
Both of them, really, Eric and Don. But really, how he was. When I think of successful blacks parenting, when I think of caring parent, when I think about running a household,
Mm-hmm.
leading a household, let's say leading, not running, leading a household, as ambiguous of a statement that can be, that's what that kind of looks like.
Yes.
Being able to, everybody has their own leash and free will. You're, it's almost like a guarantee of an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing that was off the table, and I'm going to talk to you and treat you with the respect that I feel like you can understand and
Mm-hmm.
that you deserve. And being able to talk to your wife and co-parent and let her know when you are going a little bit overboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was some fucked up shit. But you know what? He's a young boy. He's gonna do some fucked up shit. He's gonna do some dumb shit. He's gonna send the email and lie to the driving instructor. And he's even saying like stole. Like, come on, now he ain't steal. Like, let's not make it more than what it is.
Yeah.
Um, I love the advice that Eric gives Justin in the very first episode as he's going to this New Year's Eve party. Be yourself.
Yeah.
Like just going out the door advice. Like that's there's so many times where it would just be a kid leaving. All right, y'all, I'm out. All right,
Mm-hmm.
cool. Let me show you how to navigate through this world.
For
You going
sure.
to this mansion party, you're not even really the one invited. All right, be yourself. If a girl even hesitates, you want to talk to a girl, she even hesitates, don't do it.
Don't do it. Mm-hmm.
White girl, don't do it. Drunk, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Teaching them how to put the condom on. Mainly because, sex talk isn't discussed, sex education isn't discussed as much as I think it should be.
Yeah.
And it's more so about the understanding. I don't know if it's difficult for parents to realize that your kids are going to get to a point where they're going to want to have sex.
My Lord.
You try to shield that off as long as you can versus just, and I think it is easier with father son.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, Eric isn't uptight. He isn't as buttoned up as Don. Like he's a New York nigga that happens to be very successful and can navigate all these rooms.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure you're good because I know you got these feelings, and I know what it's like to have these feelings of wanting to, I know what it's like as a teenager. I think he said teenager and grown man. I know when a nigga like a woman.
Yeah.
Just in case, take these condoms.
Take these condoms. Yeah, I appreciate that. I think too, in part, and obviously I'm not a parent, but I do have brothers, and I am a sister. I think that a lot of the difference, and correct me if I'm wrong, just from your own opinion or experience, do you feel like some of that difference in regards to sex conversations with men and women is men are getting and girls and women are giving, and that's how it's looked at, like you're getting something versus I'm getting something.
That's actually, I would agree with that. That's actually very, very spot on. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I never thought of it like that, but it's as simple as it is, it's very realistic. My sex talk was, my dad did the thing where I was at school one day. I was in middle school, and he did the thing where he just searched in my room one day, like that parents do sometimes. Just on something like, what type of nigga am I raising? Like, well, who is this dude? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is this nigga into anything crazy? And I had porn. I had a Penthouse magazine under my mattress. He came to pick me up from my grandparents. Shout out to 8585. Came to pick me up, and like it was very, very Eric-like, very casual. We talking about whatever. Reaches over while he's driving and pulls it out, and I'm like, oh shit. And just like, listen, man, this isn't sex. Like, this isn't what sex is. Like, I remember there was a spread of these like people in blue paint. Don't ask me why. It was one of them Penthouse spreads. It was different. And I remember him telling me like, sex isn't this. Like, and it kind of broke it down for me.
It's like the guitar string when you pluck it.
There you go. There you go.
Well,
absolutely. It told me the importance of it, the importance of condoms, and all of that. And I was able to have that conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and I appreciated it because he wanted to make sure that I had a good understanding that it's more than just an action. There's a lot more that goes into this,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to make sure you're prepared if that is something you do. And also, I had the understanding, like, listen, I know what it's like to be that age. I'm not gonna sit here and try to monitor and police you, nigga, if something happened, but I want you to be prepared for what could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, you make up a very good point, and I'm sure women's conversations are much different.
My conversation was probably not super orthodox, so I, I don't know what a healthy conversation probably looks like, because mine was, all you get is a soft dick and a wet ass, and do you need to get on birth control?
I was gonna say a lot of women's conversations are probably about not getting pregnant. I know some dudes' conversations. I know some of
Yeah.
my friends, their conversations with their moms was don't get anybody pregnant, or their dads don't get
Mhm.
anybody pregnant. So yeah, that's very unorthodox, but
Bless
still
that.
very true. Still very true. Um, gotta let them grow up. Gotta let them get hurt.
For
That's
sure.
become a liking girls. Like all of this advice in this game is given out. Um, as Keisha told her mom about the sex tape,
Mm-hmm.
and Don, Justin came, as you would want your child to do. Be honest, listen, she going through it. I want to help her. Don
Yeah.
was like, hell no. Lisa, listen, go get her, pick her up, take her here, be back by this time,
Mm-hmm.
text us, answer, make sure you're good. Like, go take care of her. You want
Yeah.
him to be on some man shit, Don? This is some man shit.
Man shit.
He
Mm-hmm.
said that multiple times to her. And also didn't undermine Don to Justin, right? He's mentioned like our moms a lot. Once again, he said,
Yeah.
she, women were a lot, they ask a lot of men. Um, Also, hey, your mom has been doing a really, like, she's really been trying not to smother you. Please, when you see her at this event, tell her about prom.
Yeah.
Give her details about the night. Like, she is trying to give you your space, but also
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you show up and you communicate, as he said in the early episode, talk, simple shit. Like,
Yeah.
do that for your mother because you don't know how hard she is. You
Mm-hmm.
think she's difficult and you think she's a lot. You have no idea how further she could take this.
Yeah.
She's really trying to, give you this.
Rein it in.
So, all of that, man, all of that. It was just beautiful to see someone like that
For
where
sure.
a regular nigga, all due respect,
Yeah.
always, of course, just be a good parent. And I'm just gonna give you like game because there's no rule book to none of this stuff.
Exactly. And it's so funny that you mentioned all of that, because the first time I watched it, and even on this rewatch, the first thing I said within the opening scenes is, oh, she's going to ruin her son. So to have Dawn be so much and Eric come in and just be the great diffuser of all of that, it was really, really, really beautiful to see throughout, and that woven throughout every episode.
That's real.
Yeah.
Um, let's get to prom.
Let's get to prom. To the lit prom.
Yeah, go ahead, Rachel. Go ahead and take it over.
Yeah, so we know that Keisha and Justin went to Justin's prom, but after that, in that beautiful pink, in that beautiful blush, was Keisha's prom. We
Mm-hmm.
got a beautiful dance montage. Well, I didn't know that Justin could be so loose, you know. He was kicking it.
Kicking it.
Uh,
That was Michael Cooper. That wasn't Justin no way.
right, right.
That's that
But
star power you was talking about, Rachel.
that's it. That's it. He and Keisha were literally having the time of their lives, a better experience than what they had at his prom, and I'm positive an even better experience than she had with Christian the year before. But the fun comes to an end when we learn that Justin has gotten Keisha a hotel, he and Keisha a hotel room. He's asked her, what if I just come to Howard with you, because of this amazing Black experience that I've never had in my whole life. I don't feel othered. It's just a bunch of us kicking it, kicking it,
Mm-hmm.
having a good time. I didn't know that it could be like this.
Yep.
I've never experienced this. I've seen it maybe, but I've never been a part of it. And even though I don't go here, because I believe it to be an all girls school anyway, but I don't feel out of place, whether it's my environment or not. I want to bottle this feeling up and keep it and have it forever. What if I come to Howard? And Keisha like, what the fuck? No. Why would you do that? Not because I don't want you there, but also this is my thing. And I also have my father in my head. This nigga's clingy. Don't let him make his life about all about you, this, and the third, you know? And Justin doesn't know what to do with that. He sees her apprehension and her kind of like, oh, I don't think so. I don't want to fight. Should we invite Tammy and them over or should we go party? But clearly you don't want me to. It's done. Chop City. They go out, but it's different. So the ending to this amazing night that they had obviously does not end with which the way that they thought it would or the way that they were anticipating prior to this discussion. But it leads to yet another crack in the armor of their relationship because now do you want me? Like, you don't want me to be with you. You don't want me to come out here. So what is it? Even though it's not necessarily Keisha not wanting him with her, but I don't feel like you really would be trying to go there if I wasn't going there. You don't like school in general. What you gonna do? There's no thought other than just wanting to have that feeling of blackness and be with Keisha. That's all Justin cares about at this point is having fun and being with Keisha.
Yep. Making sure Ralph is attended to.
And making sure Ralph is attended to, as we saw him later at the Christmas party after they reconciled from the conversation. And Keisha said, you know, I just want you to find what's for you, what's going to make you happy. Not necessarily what's going to make me happy or where I come into that, but what does Justin need, you know?
Which is so important, by
Which
the way.
is so important. They come back from that. We get to Christmas, we make up. Then Justin is still on some Justin shit. He's decided he is going to go to Northwestern. He doesn't want to ruin, um, he doesn't want to disappoint his parents any further. Eric has wept at the thought of the first Edwards man going to college. I can't take that from you. But again, you could go anywhere. It doesn't have to be Northwestern. Y'all got plenty.
Going to college is all that matters. Yeah.
That's it. You can get in anywhere at this point. Since you wasn't going on scholarship, no way. So, we get to the pool. Our parents are here. My daddy is cool. He's relaxed on you. We're having a good time. We get to the pool. We get the house to ourselves. And in the back of my mind, as Justin is approaching, trying to satisfy his lady, and he gets that urge that we all do, especially if we've been active for so long with a person where taking the protection off, where this comes into play. And Keisha, who's her whole life heard, don't get pregnant, don't get pregnant, don't get pregnant, don't get pregnant. And then now compounded on top of that is her father. Yeah, we ain't mean to get pregnant. I didn't mean, your mama ain't mean to. I didn't mean to trap her. That wasn't the purpose. I wasn't trying to hurt her. I wasn't trying to ruin her future. But young people get lost in the sauce. They in love, this, that, and the third. And things happen. Keisha is very clearly about her boundaries. And likely a lot of that is probably based off of the things that happened with Christian, based off of how her mother is. Keisha cares about a boundary. And Justin almost crossed that. And no wasn't about to mean no for a second. I'm glad that she got up, she left, and he was genuinely apologetic. And again, he didn't mean to try to push the boundary. But
Yeah.
again, at the top of the episode, we talked about those teenage feelings and what that body is doing now that you've tasted the nectar and know that it's sweet. Like now you want it, and now your body is reacting, and you got a little hair on your face and
Mm-hmm.
wherever else. Coming off the prom, and now this, even though we see them reconcile yet again, shout out to Chloe and Darius for being really, really good friends to the both of them and
Mm-hmm.
making sure that they get it together, even though they on both of y'all nerves. So we'll let y'all deal with each other because we sick of listening to it. Um, but again, another chink in the armor of this
Mm-hmm.
relationship. And we get to Justin essentially making the decision that is best for them to break up. And he's absolutely right.
Yeah. You think that was a cop out, or you think he genuinely meant that? You think he was just trying to save himself from the hurt, or he was that a mature decision, or was that an emotional decision? I guess that's the
I,
question.
I think two things can be true.
Okay,
It is the right decision
for
either
sure,
way.
for sure.
Um, for all of the reasons, we've heard the stories of you have a boyfriend away at college, or you're the one that's away and they at home. It's too much life that you're experiencing on campus and this, that, and the third. Sorry to that man.
I've, I've been the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Same. But same. But it's the right thing because you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
You don't know what you want for yourself. Everything is about making somebody else happy. You grown, but you still a kid because you can't come to your parents at this juncture and say what it is. When they confront you, you can speak your mind. But when it comes to what you actually want, you're not as forthright. So you've got to make decisions for yourself. And I low key can't do that. And I recognize me, Justin, that low key I am wilding. I don't mean to be. And maybe I am trying to hold on to you just a little bit too tight because this is the only thing besides music that is providing me any sort of joy. It's the only thing that I'm looking forward to other than getting to the studio because I don't want to do none of this other shit that I have going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm holding on to you too tight and
Yeah.
it's suffocating you. And I know you don't like that neither. So I have to release you like a thousand doves. Shout out to Living Single.
That's real. And I don't really even have anything else to say beyond that because that was just very well said by you.
Thank you.
The only thing I can say is that was completely, if I were to go back to
Mm-hmm.
my younger version, first love, first heartbreak, first thing I would say, let it be. Just let it be, bro. Don't try to hold on to the hope of it. Don't
Mm-hmm.
try to chase it. If it circles back, it circles back.
Yeah.
But go live your own life too.
If it let it
And
go, what came back, that's how strong it was.
shout out to Earl, man. R.I.P. to DMX.
Yeah.
But that's some real stuff, and that's what's necessary because you need that. And I think Justin made a joke or a comment about maybe 10 years we'll be ready for each other or something
Mhm.
because yeah, the love can still be there, and who knows what's gonna happen, but no way we're gonna realistically be able to do this. And after they make that decision, I think it was after that when she found out he was gonna be in LA
Mhm.
that he ran into her. And he told her, "Listen, man, I come here all the time and been working with Rodney, and every day I hope to bump into you." And I
Yeah.
finally did. And I'm glad we got that proper send off, and
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to season 2
For
in the
sure.
college years because they only get more chaotic,
For
hectic.
sure. For
Um,
sure.
I'd imagine both of them are going to have new love interest, at
Mm-hmm.
least at some point, even if it's for a couple episodes,
Got to.
just to show us what they've been to. Because that's the whole point, right? You got
Yeah.
to live and have these experiences. And just like true love always does, something happens to bring you all the way back around, or maybe it doesn't. Who knows? That's the beauty of it. Um, so that's it. Oh, one question before we
Yeah.
get out of here. What was your first car? Because I know it wasn't a Jeep, a brand new Jeep at that. What was your first car? Do you remember?
Uh, s- I have two first cars.
Okay.
My first car was like a white Daewoo, but
Mm, shout out to the Daewoo's.
yeah, I got on punishment and couldn't go to driver's ed.
Shocker.
So said car was given to my brother who crashed it. But my actual that I got to drive was the Chevy, was my Chevy Cavalier that I had
Okay
in
then.
college. Yeah, Ivy. Hmm.
Yo, stay on punishment. He was the opposite of old girl in ATL. Her mama ain't never home. Um 1987 Dodge Dynasty.
Okay.
Never forget it, man. Shout out to the Dodge Dynasty, man. Shout out to all y'all getting Jeeps, brand new Jeeps for your first
I
car.
know.
Live a privileged life.
Shout out to please continue to get your Jeeps. Toledo loves this Jeep.
Straight up, man. But Rachel,
Yes,
I say it all the time. There's nobody I would rather have any of these conversations with. I appreciate you as always.
for sure.
Um, to all of y'all out there listening, thank you. We
Thank you.
appreciate y'all.
Really.
Be on the lookout. Stay subscribed to this page. Obviously, we'll be back for season 2 whenever that drops.
Yeah,
But before the month ends, we'll have a Father's Day edition, man. We'll talk some TV dads. We'll have a
for
good
sure.
discussion about that and do
For
something over here.
sure.
So, Rachel, any last words for you to take us out?
Thank you for watching and listening. Please continue to like, subscribe, and share. We appreciate y'all. Talk to y'all later. Peace.
We out. Peace.